We made it. All right. Okay. We did it again. Okay. All right. Now, can you hear me? Anything? Um, okay. It shows we got 47 people here. Can anybody see me? Hello. Um, Sounds good. Okay. Okay. You hear me? Can you see me? You getting video? Okay. Great. All right. Yeah, that was. I had to actually shut the whole computer down and restart it. So I don't know what happened with that. That was a weird freezing. So let's see. I just saw somebody who they said from Canada. You're from Canada. Okay, but I don't know who's got connections to the truckers out there. I salute you guys. You are the true heroes of this planet right now. Keep up the good work. Right, support your local trucker. You guys are amazing, and the tow truck drivers and the farmers and everybody else who's joining them up and backing those guys up and supplying them with food or whatever the hell else they need, right? Go, man, go. You guys are completely awesome. Okay, so that out of the way. Yes, Canadian truckers rock. Um, so let's see. Zero Teamster. That was Teamsters. Serge, hey Tony, I currently have my Carter AFB taken apart and soak the internals in Chem Dip. I never bother with that. It just makes them pretty. It doesn't actually get into any of the nooks and crannies. And if you're going to rebuild one of those carburetors, the most important thing is in the boosters, right? Go back. I've done so many videos on those carburetors and how to make them work right. But all of your issues that you can have, low speed and idle issues, are all going to be in those boosters. So go back and watch a couple of those videos that I did. And I did one that's like under a minute, right? And it'll show you everything to do with that. But I never bother soaking those things. It's a waste of time. It doesn't penetrate into anything that's of any consequence. Excuse me. Oof. Okay. Watch out for the diesel police. I think a lot of cops are on their side, right? I see that the cops are getting like a bad rap. A lot of people come down to the cops there, and I'm sure there's a couple of ass clowns in the bunch, but I think most of the cops are siding. They can't do it overtly, but they are in sync with the truckers. I'm convinced of that. Let's see. Creekside Garage. I bought a race car today. Cleveland powered Fox body. Lots of luck with that. Congratulations and lots of luck. Are you going to bring it to the No Name Nationals? And okay, so that's what we were talking about. We were talking about the No Name Nationals. And as always, whenever we do a live, if you guys need to get your sub numbers up, if you're trying to get to 500 subs, right, please feel free in the comments to tell people you need subs. Give them an idea of what you do on your channel. Fubar is, I don't even know if Fubar's here. I saw him before. I don't know if he came back. But Fubar generally will put up a link to your channel so people could go directly to it and subscribe. So is there anybody wanting to promote their channel for the No Name, or if you just want to promote your channel in general, because we're always looking to expand our community. We're always looking to, you know what I mean? This, right? That's why we do these live shows, just to expand the community. So feel free. Feel free. You're definitely not hurting my feelings. It's what I want. I want to see you guys promoting your channels and promoting your builds and whatever else that you're doing. Because you're here to support me, right? So it only goes both. It's got to go both ways. It's got to go both ways. Let's see, Bob Jashin. How come you never ride with me? My car breaks down. You need a new neighbor. Jerry, get the Ranger. I try not to ride with any guy. I don't like to be in a car with males, right? I know that sounds crazy, doesn't it? But that's me. I do not like to share the same space with males. I do want to have to, but it's not one of those things that I do willingly, so that's why I don't ride with you. Let's see. Auto Impulse. I go, Tony, what project are you looking forward to doing the most this year? Any updates on the Miata? There's no update. The Miata's just sitting there. And eventually, one of the guys, the Junkyard Jet guy, is supposed to take it out and beat the thing up for me. So eventually, it'll go out and do that. But I've really lost interest in it. I I wish I did. But I have just no interest in that car. I just can't find the place in me that really cares. I had fun putting it together. I had fun driving it around the parking lot. And then that was it. It's just like I have no interest in the thing. So it's like, you know what I mean? What are you gonna do? You can't force interest in something. So you know, um, let's see. Uh, okay, I see Fubar's on the case as always. Um, Drift the Miata and Blue. Drifting don't do anything for me. I like putting stuff together. That's what I like to do. After it's together, I really don't care about it. You know what I'm saying? I like putting stuff together. That's my thing. And somebody asked, what project am I looking forward to the most this year? To be honest, the Junkyard Jet guys. I'm looking forward to what they do. It's like I'm reliving big parts of my youth through them. You know what I'm saying? So it's like watching them progress with this thing and all that. That's what I'm getting a lot out of that. So that's the one I'm looking forward to the most. Second one I'm looking forward to is Slaghammer. Plan Z will be out the plan with Plan Z is to have it on the track the day it opens here. So that's in about 3 weeks. Not this weekend coming up, but the following weekend we're going to do a live engine build. We're gonna put that Slant 6 together. We're gonna put it in the car, get it running, and do a burnout with it live. So that'll be next weekend. We're going to try to do it all on Saturday, but it may take 2 days. It may go into Sunday also. So, but anyway, we'll be doing that next weekend. That ought to be a lot of fun. But in order, those are the things that I'm looking forward to for this year. Can I play the Super Bowl in the background? Sports ball? Really? Oh, come on now. Slant 6 motorcycle project. I think we talked about this on the last live. I thought about doing a Slant 6 trike. I had a slant and a 904 sitting on the ground, and I plugged a 7 1/4 into it, right? And I was like, oh God, all you got to do now is just string everything together and put a front end on it. But I don't know. I got so many other things going on. I really, maybe down the road, but not now. And next Sunday night, we have Steve Magnanti is coming back. We try to do a monthly show together. So he'll be back next Sunday. And I believe we're going to be talking about the differences, the mechanical and mental and spiritual differences between old muscle cars and new muscle cars. So that's the general topic of conversation for next week. But when he and I get together, the conversations go in all different crazy directions. So who knows? And also for you tech heads, you guys that are into just like, it's like, rod ratio, right? Okay. We did a great not an interview. We had like a conversational podcast type of thing. We did with David Vizard, the legendary David Vizard, and Andy Woods from Unity Motorsports. So we got together last night and we shot an hour-long thing that'll be up tomorrow. So if you're into that sort of thing, if you're into internal engine dynamics and theory and so on and so forth, you definitely want to watch that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Robert O'Neill, what happened to the Hemi Tsubishi build? Well, what happened was Kiwi broke both of his knees. Okay, this was almost 2 years ago now. So he had started on the project, and I was going to build it with him, and I didn't have any other projects happening at the time. So he broke both of his knees. He actually ran himself over with a Mustang, okay, and broke both of his knees. And then he had to have a knee replaced, and it was this whole ordeal for this poor guy. In the meantime, he's trying to maintain his business. He's not independently wealthy. He's got to show up to work every day, whether he can walk or not. So at that point, it was like, okay, this is all back burner stuff, like worry about your business. You know what I mean? He's got to worry about his business and his health and screw the project car. So now he's all completely healed. He's caught up at work. He started his own YouTube channel, and that project is coming back out. But my hands are full. I got so many things I'm working on right now that I passed the motor build off to Al. So Mopar Al. So the Hemi Mitsubishi is coming back. It's coming back. The chassis build, the car build itself will be on Kiwi's channel, Kiwi Classic and Customs. So please go subscribe to Kiwi's channel if you haven't already. He's a great guy, so you've got his channel, and you got Mopar Al, and you should go sub to Mopar Al. He's one that's doing a lot of body work and everything on Slaghammer. So they're going to team up and work on the Hemi Mitsubishi. And as you see, the UTG network and family and team is growing, right? And we're all taking little different chunks of the pie and making it our own. So and this is the plan. This is the plan. This is how we're expanding, and this is how we're gonna keep growing. And everything is moving along great. And I'm surrounded by people all over the place that I am completely grateful to be surrounded by. They're fantastic. So that's what's going on with that. Let's see. CW David Vizard is underrated. His channel needs subscribers. David Vizard is, you say, well, did you read the book? Well, David Vizard is the guy who wrote the books, right? We all grew up reading David Vizard's work, and that's why it blows my mind that he's like, yeah, Tom, So it's like, oh shit, knowing David Vizard, talking to David Vizard is as close to knowing and talking to Smokey Yunick as you could possibly get. It's that level of genius and experience that you're dealing with there. So, like I said, what can I tell you? It's like I'm surrounded by the finest people on earth. Let's see. Mike Batista, the front wheels on Slaghammer are too wide, but whatever. They're actually not, bro. When we had the tires, the tire profile that we want that's going to end up on that car, they're not too wide. They actually taper in and fit like exactly. They're in line with the front fenders. If you look at the tires that are on the car now, they have a much wider cross section. They bulge out a little bit. They kind of look like a tractorish type of thing. So it gives the impression that the tires are too far out. But when we had the tires, we had a set of tires on the car that are similar to ones that are going to be on there. No, it looks exactly right. It's perfect. It's perfect. And Andy Wood is saying, I agree. I'm extremely fortunate to work with Vizard for close to 20 years now. That's amazing, right? Hey, Uncle Tony, did you race Jasper? No, it's Casper, and that's Unity Motorsports Garage. And no, we're racing at the No Name Nationals. Let's see. Tony, how was the Jets Pizza? First off, John, how did you know that I had Jets Pizza? Did I talk about Jets Pizza? I gotta know how to. Oh wait, John, you're the guy I took the picture with at Jets Pizza. Okay, that's how you know. All right. Sorry about that, John. Okay, the Jets Pizza was freaking spectacular. Actually, I went back the next afternoon, and I got another one. Same pie, just without the olives. I only got the olives on it because my granddaughter loves olives, the black olives. So I got it just sausage and bacon. Bro, that's the most addictive pizza I've had. You know what? That's the most addictive pizza I've had since the original Little Caesars. The pizza. There was the 2 square pies that came in the envelope. That was like crazy addictive. Well, the Jets Pizza, bro, off the chain. I mean, just absolutely off the chain. It was fantastic. All right. Well, I got a super chat just came through there. 2 hacks. Thank you, 2 hacks. Tony just popped in to say hello to everyone. Summer can't come fast enough. Oh, please. I know, man. I'm having seasonal depression. I'm telling you, it's freaking seasonal depression. You know what I mean? It's bad. It's like, right? I'm just not dealing with this. I need to be out in the sun on a motorcycle and just, you know what I mean? It's bad. This is bad. And it's not even bad here. It's like it's in the 50s and the 40s and the 50s. But you get used to like the nice hot weather, nice sunny weather all the time. So that couple of months that we go through here, like in January and February, where it's just like winter, Bro, it's killing me. It's killing me. Doug's Maintenance Shop. Jets is a favorite of mine here in the Detroit area. Yeah, no, it's freaking awesome. Don English, you call it cabin fever. I don't have cabin fever. I'm never in the cabin. It has nothing to do with it, man. It's that I need to be out in the sun. I don't like to be indoors. Like, I don't like to work inside. I like to work in the open, you know what I mean, with daylight and stuff like that. So like, to me, to be kind of cooped in the garage by force, you know what I mean, like, because it's just too cold to do it out there. I don't like that, man. Danny Boy, Domino's is your favorite cheap pizza. Never tried Jets. Domino's, yeah, I mean, right? Domino's is okay. Their sauce is really good, but Jets, bro, and Jets is not cheap. I got the 8-corner deep dish pie, right? So it's a Sicilian pie. It's a square pie, right? With 8 corners. Everything is a corner. Every piece is a corner. If you're a crust lover, I'm a crust lover. To me, the crust is the best part of the freaking pizza. And yeah, I know, it's like epic, right? It's all corners all the time. It's just delicious, awesome pizza. And it's like $18 or $19. It's not cheap, but it's absolutely worth every penny of it. Jets and Caesars are go-to. Little Caesars is got the best cheese. You know, they use because they use a whole milk mozzarella and they throw some Munster in there too. So yeah, Little Caesars got everybody aced on in the cheese department. And cheese is where you have a problem with Domino's, because they use like a part skim mozz. Yeah, you know what I mean. And Papa John's, same thing. I love Papa John's crust. I love their sauce. Their toppings are really good, but their cheese is ass, because it's like a part skim cheese. It's not good. It's not good. It has the consistency of wet toilet paper. You know what I mean? As opposed to the real cheese. You go like this. That's how in the old days, right? So New York, right? Italian New York pizza. Okay, so it's ingrained in the culture. The way when a pizzeria owner orders cheese, they'll send samples, right? So he'll make a pie with the sample cheese, and you're supposed to be able, when the pie is hot, when it first comes out of the oven, you're supposed to be able to take a bite of the pizza, and the cheese should spread the whole arm length, right? That's how you know that's the test for good cheese in New York. You take a bite of it, then you pull a slice away, and you should have a cheese bridge between your mouth and your hand and an arm length. So that's how you tell quality cheese. It's got that elasticity. Mopar Hal, what's happening, brother, man? I was just talking about your channel. Tony and I was talking about sick week today. I'm not going to sick week. You can go to sick week. I'll stay home. But yeah, man, you go to sick week. Go for it. Zero saying the Little Caesars is next to Ari and my good friend's MMA gym. I feel guilty every time I go. I know, bro. I've been like at 200 pounds and trying to lose weight. My pants fit just a little bit better. Well, I totally went off the rails the last 2 days on this Jets pizza. Colleen Tabo, you just got back from sick week. Best vacation ever. It looked like it was a lot of fun. Anchovies, no, not for me. I like bacon. Right? I like bacon. Gotta have bacon on your pizza. I like sausage. I don't like pepperonis because it overwhelms the pepperoni just overwhelms everything that it's around. But I like bacon and I like sausage. Bialys. Oh, I haven't had one of those in 25 years. Simi's Garage, you want to get back to cars? I didn't think we left. Cars and food, man. Food is the fuel for the mechanic. The mechanic is the guy who works the car. So it's like it's all one happy, food chain thing, right? Food and cars go together. Matt asks, you like jalapenos, mushrooms, pepperoni, and cheese. You buy jars of anchovies. Hank Hill, thank you for the super chat. Oh, your dad passed 4 days ago. I wish I could give more. Hank Hill, I am sorry about that. You didn't have to give me a super chat to tell me it's your dad. I'm so sorry about that. All of the best wishes of our community here, your way, bro. Let's see. Margarita pizza. Yeah. We had a place here called Gideon Wallace, cars are for getting food. Duh. You're right. You're right. And you only have a fast car, right, to get your food back to the house. I just remembered something that happened 40 years ago. You ready for something that happened 40 years ago that just popped into my head? Okay. You ready for this one? Right. I guess I was 20 years old. I was about 20 years old. Something is the truth. This is right. This is God's honest truth. So I had a 69 Charger with a 446 pack. I never had mufflers. I didn't even know what a muffler was. It was an open header car. I never had a plate that actually belonged to the car on it. I never had valid stickers. And my license had already been suspended probably 50 times by then. I was 20 years old, right? So I was over at Uncle Kathy's parents' house, and they wanted a pizza. So they lived about I don't know, I guess about 4 miles away from a pizzeria that was in like a major thoroughfare. It was on Staten Island. It was Forest Avenue. So I said, I'll go get the pizza. So I jumped in my Charger, right? And again, like I said, uninsured, unregistered, improper plate, stickers that I just drew out by hand, and my license is suspended and revoked countless times, right? So I go and I pick up the pizza in this open-headed black primer 69 Charger with the big cam and everything else. Right? And I go pick up the pizza, and I'm on my way back to her house, and the lights go on behind me, right? It's like, I knew it. Okay, great. Here we go again, right? Going away in cuffs. So the cop walks over and he goes, license, registration. And I tell him, I don't have a license, and the car isn't registered. The plate came off of a car that I bought a couple of weeks ago. Because I've always been honest with you. I don't lie to cops. It's like, you caught me. You know what I mean? That's it. Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. Yeah, my license is suspended and revoked. The car isn't registered or insured. Do what you're going to do to me. So I tell the cop, yeah, no, I got no license, got no registration. And he's looking at me, right? And he says, what are you doing out with this car? I says, I went to pick up a pizza for my family. And he's like, and he's looking at me, right? And I reached over in the passenger seat, and I took it out, and I opened the top of the box, and I says, it's pizza. I says, you want a slice? And he says, you're going to give me a slice of pizza? I says, well, if you want one, take a slice of pizza. And he's like, get that thing to the house before it gets cold. And he let me go. Let's see. Simi's Garage. Uncle Tony, where's the best place to get full floor pans for my 65 Barracuda? They don't make them. Yeah, they don't make them. If I were you, I would just get some sheet metal and start hammering them and welding it into place. There's nobody's got those floor pans now. Later floor pans you can find, but the 63 to 66 A-body stuff, I don't believe is available anywhere right now. Zuji, even if you give them an excuse, it's not going to work anymore. Oh yeah. Seriously, it's completely I learned that when I was like 16. The first time I got arrested, I realized no, it is pointless to lie to the cops. Just tell them what the deal is, and 90% of the time you're like, oh, okay, he's a straight shooter. He's doing something stupid, but he's an okay guy, so just let him go. You would be surprised what you can get away with. Mr. Will, thank you for the super chat. Tone, Holly 850 double pump. My 85 GMC 54 is running, but dies like it's running out of fuel. Fuel pressure is 6.5. Should I adjust for the cold? I put it on in July. No, you shouldn't have to adjust anything. The fuel pressure is 6.5 even when it dies, because that's not making much sense unless it's flooding over. Is it flooding over? You could try dropping the fuel pressure to 6 or even 5. Drop the fuel pressure to 5 and drive it and see if that actually makes a difference. Let's see. Imports still suck. Watch Ray Shylin on the YouTube, if you need floor pans, Fitzy's Garage too. Okay, good tips. Thank you. Jerry Franks, the better the story you have when a cop pulls you over, the more likely he will laugh and let you go. It's the truth. It's the truth. Mike Batista, plus the cop knew you could make it justified. You see, that's the truth. I've run, there were a lot of times I just didn't want to be inconvenienced. And if I happen to be, like, let's say on a motorcycle or whatever, I don't, pulling me over is optional. You know what I mean? If you pulled me over, it's because I chose to stop. Lobo GTX, hi Tony, how are you and Kathy? Great. We're doing great. I'm still a little under the weather from the Rona. Like, I still don't have that energy level that I'm used to having. I've been sleeping late. Usually I get up with the sun, just before the sun, and I'm in attack mode. I mean, I'm just like, go, right? And like, since I had the Rona, I wake up at like 5 and I'm like, nope. And I go back to sleep. This morning, Kathy woke me up, right? Do you know how crazy that is for Kathy to wake me up? That never happens. So I'm still in that, you know what I mean? And like as soon as I'm done with the show, I'm gonna go home, lay down on the couch, and pass out because I still don't have my energy back. I'm still not up to like the war machine is running in low ebb right now. Let's see. Tony wakes up before the chickens. Yeah, I wake up before everything. Mike Batista, everyone wants a battery update. I did a whole video on a battery update. The battery is fine. It's in the GT. It's perfect. Nothing wrong with it. Sunny Ray, chicken, bacon, onion, green peppers, and black olives. I've done the chicken and bacon thing. I just actually made that for myself like a couple of weeks ago. Some chicken and bacon. I didn't think to throw onions in there, but onions would be a good addition to that. Mr. Will, your friend at work got the Rona in December. He's 31 and it took 2-3 months to be at 100%. I believe that. One for the road. When I'm not playing in the garage, I work as a cop to pay the bills. I try to give people a fair shake, and usually if the guy is half decent person and didn't do anything egregious, it's warning only. Yeah, I know that. And I tell you something. Okay, even at times in my life where I had problems with cops, you know what I'm saying? I would still, if I see them, online at a coffee thing or they're getting lunch, whatever, I pay their bill. You know what I mean? I just go ahead and pay their bill because I support the blue. You know what I mean? It's like, I may do a fucked up occasionally. Who doesn't? You know what I'm saying? But with those the things that the mischievous things that I would do or get involved with is nothing compared to what these poor son of a bitches have to deal with like domestic calls and child abuse and like all of these crazy freaking things that nobody should ever have to deal with. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you could be a cop. You throw the cuffs on me today. It's not a problem. I don't care. Because I know after you're done playing around with me, then you got some serious shit that you got to deal with. And in that case, my heart goes out to you. And, you're a good man and you're doing your thing. So I've always had that relationship with cops. Needing metal. $5. Thank you, sir. COVID was well engineered. I agree. I'm still feeling it, fatigue and body aches. It's been a while, bro. It was brewed by geniuses. I mean, these aren't stupid people who made this thing. You know what I'm saying? These are evil geniuses, and they did a fantastic job on it. For Christ's sakes. Let's see. Love Burns. I got stopped this October, 80 and a 40. She let me go. Okay, Mark King. What would cause the front tires to draw in at the bottom of the tires when I drive forward on a 68 dart, bro? That's the problem I had with Bottle Rocket. And the problem with Bottle Rocket is the lower control on bushing pulled out, right? When the lower control arm bushing pulled out, I don't have street tires on the car. I've got front runners. And the front runners don't have any stability this way. So it would pull in on the torsion bar and then out on the rebound. So I ended up having a situation where the wheel was going like this. You've got bad lower control arm bushings. So start breaking it apart. They're a pain in the ass, right? You got to pull the torsion bar out, pull the lower control arm out, and you've got to press that bushing in and out. And there are several different options. Just Google it. There's tons of information. Let's see. Chris Belva, KUT, is a 294 rear gear a good combination with a 447-27? Should they go higher? What are you trying to accomplish? 294 is a fantastic gear for road tripping and stuff like that. It's a terrible gear for acceleration. Let's see. Adam Fisher, what is it, Uncle Tony? It's you, brother, man. It's all about you. This is your stage, and we're just dancing on it. Let's see. Mike Batista, your 318 value had an 8 3/4, 355, and the car did 13s. That's about right. Did I take Zuji 22? Did I take the birth of the street rod video down? I don't think I ever did a video on the birth of the street rod. I've never done a street rod video. John Galkin, cops in our town are super cool, even though it's a liberal state. We can have fun on the streets with cars, mopeds, etc. Back to blue. Oh man, I agree. And around here, especially, most cops are car guys. And if they're not car guys, out and out car guys, they have an appreciation for them. So if you got to be doing something really stupid with a car to get, you know what I mean? But not every state is the same. Not every police force is the same. Not every area is the same. But in where we are in Middle Tennessee, you can get away with a lot with a vintage car, a hot rod, anything cool. You know what I mean? It's like you're golden, man. You're right. Fritz Fussell, Uncle Tony, you're going to test the groove carburetor. Yes, I just don't know how yet. I've been working on so many different things. I haven't been able to give that much thought, much headspace. But those videos do get good views. And so remember now, YouTube is a business. Before anything, I keep repeating myself over and over again, like lately in conversation. YouTube is a business, and I have to do videos that get views, that have a broad appeal. And that stuff has a broad appeal. They get good views. So yes, I will be doing more of that. Sid, cops have to deal with crazy drug dealers down in the South. Cops have to deal with the worst stuff. You know what I mean? They have to see the worst that the human race has to friggin' offer. You know what I mean? And they got and it's a steady diet of it. So that's how you have to look at it. And there's a lot of people like just down on cops, like, oh fuck, how this guy gave me a ticket, he arrested me because I was only doing this, whatever. You got to understand the flip side of that guy's work or that girl's work. They see the worst of humanity on a daily basis. You really gotta, if you can't understand that, then you should be harassed by them. Let's see. Lobo GTX, Steve Magnanti, 62 Dark Police car. Do you like it? Yeah, I love. What's not to like about it? And just a reminder, Steve will be here next Sunday night. And we're going to talk about muscle cars, old and new. The contrast between the old stuff and the new stuff. And of course, the conversation always goes in all the different directions that you guys guided into. So, but that's the stated conversation. We're going to talk about muscle cars, old and new. So next Sunday night, 7:00, Steve will be with us. And like I said, tomorrow, if you're into like engine geometry and stuff like that, we'll be putting up the thing we did with David Vizard and Andy Woods from the UTG Motorsports Garage. We'll be putting that up tomorrow morning, and it's like an hour, right, of just like good conversation. It's just an hour of good mechanical conversation. I think you guys will enjoy it. Let's see. David J. UT, would an inline Ford 170 be a better motor for higher RPM power than a similarly built 200? I'm curious about your thoughts since you have mentioned the Slant 6 170 is better than 225. I do not know the specifics of the smaller Ford 6s. I mean, I've worked on them, but I've never thought about them in a hot rod sense. So I couldn't tell you the differences. I'm sure somebody who's familiar with those smaller inline Ford 6s, but the difference, the things that make the 170 a better overall engine than the 225 Chrysler are unique to that particular engine, that particular architecture. So it's not an apples to apples comparison. Parmain 78. What's happening, man? Let's see. 430 in your Boss 302. You need 430s in a Boss 302. Let's see. Mark King, I have a 74 Dart with a 318. Would it be hard to shoehorn a 440 in it? No, not at all. The only clearance issues you have are on the driver's side because of the steering shift, right? That's the only real issue that you have. And they make headers to go around all of that. If you're going to, okay, so if I was going to, the only way that I would build a big block A body would be like a really kind of a strip only type of car, or a toy car, not something I would drive every day. And I would definitely build it with fender well headers. Fender well headers suck for a lot of reasons, but dealing with plug and starter changes in a big block A body sucks even more, right? So, but no, the motor goes right in there. Actually, the motor goes right in there. Listen to this one, okay? Listen to me, right? If you use C-body log exhaust manifolds, you're going to give up some over the headers, right? But C-body log exhaust manifolds on a 440 clear the exhaust, or they clear that steering the steering shaft. Right, you got to trim a little. It's not a big deal. You'd see it when you go to put it together. But C-body log exhaust manifolds. So let's say like a mid 1960s like 383 Newport. Okay, those exhaust manifolds. If you stick them on a 440 and you drop them into an A body, it's almost like it's better. It's actually a cleaner setup than the factory used. Mike Batista, did Bottle Rocket ever make a clean nitrous pass yet? It's never made a clean pass? Well, no, it's never made a clean pass. It's been to the track like a total of 5 times, and every time I've had an issue with it. So, no, it's never made a clean nitrous pass. But it will yank the left front wheel with no nitrous at all. So, you know what I mean? Let's see. Mr. Will, Tony, found a 71 car in a police package with the build sheet for sale. It has a 383. Was 71 the last year for the 383? I thought it was, 71 was the last year for the 383. 72, they went to the 400. 71 is the only year for a cast crank 383. And it's actually the same exact crank that they use in the 400. Paul Shea, it's the orbs. Bro, I've had orbs show up in a few different videos. Made muscle bottle rocket would be the ultimate sleeper when sorted out. It will be. It will be. Let's see. Yeah, it's a manual trans. That's the best part about it. The manual trans, all of the car's issues from because I had a vacuum secondary Holly on the car originally, so bogging issues came from the fact that it was a stick. And not being power shifted to second, that was a problem. Snapping an axle, it's a stick problem. It's something you don't do in automatic. That was a stick problem. Uh, Blowing through the clutch, that's another stick problem. You know, well, actually, the only non stick related issue I had with the car was with that lower control arm problem that we had in Alabama. Uh, Tony, when will you roll up your damn windows? It's coming soon, soon. Okay. Bent clutch linkage. Yes, I had that. I had the clutch linkage actually collapse on me. There was the ear on the side of the liquid can decided to just fold over on me. So yeah, it's been. I'm telling you, it's been a oh god, it's been a ride with that car. Mike Batista, stick cars are more fun. They might break more often, but more fun. I agree with you, but here's the thing with the stick car. You really have to be able to take the car out and run it like frequently, right? And I can't do that. I don't have the time, right? I have neither the time nor the inclination to be at the track every week working through a car. That's not what I do anymore. It's just not my thing. I make YouTube videos. You know what I mean? This is what I do. I don't race cars. So it's like, to me, taking the car out and sorting out is a drudgery. And so that's why it only, and it's not, it doesn't get the kind of views that I need to get on a consistent basis. So for me to devote the time and the energy that it takes to make everything perfect on the freaking car, it takes away from the types of videos that get good views and pay the bills and allow me to do this stuff. So that's, you know what I'm saying? It's like you gotta play both sides. But the biggest mistake I made was making it a stick because it's a stick. I can't just put anybody in the car and say, "Here, take this to the track and go run it," right? Because they have to have experience with the stick. They have to have, you know what I'm saying? Whereas if it was an automatic, I could take any Tom, Dick, or Harry and say, "Here, take this freaking car to the track and bring and run it every week, and we'll sort it out and we'll make," which is how it was supposed to be at the very beginning. I was never supposed to run the freaking car. I never wanted to run the car. I ended up having to run the car because the person who I had entrusted with the task of running the car turned out to have issues that were not compatible with our thing. So that person had to go, and I ended up with this freaking car by default. And that's how it ended up. And that's why I like Big Al, right? Or Mopar Al with Slaghammer. It's a perfect example, right? It's a car that I've wanted to build for a long time now. It's coming together. It's awesome. But I'm like, Al, once this car, once you hit the button and this thing starts up, I don't want to see anything of it except videos. I should just send me videos. I don't want to drive it. I don't want to take it anyplace. I don't want to go anyplace with it. I don't want to sit in it. I don't ever want to even I don't even want to go like this, taking it down the street. Al, we finish this car. You take this car and make it go away and send me videos and I'll post the videos. And that's how I am with all of this stuff. Isaiah Arnold, I love the wisdom and the real in your videos. Thank you, sir. You don't act like somebody you're not. You tell what you know, and that's awesome. I try, man. I try. Let's see. Over center springs with the diaphragm clutch. Well, that's why you should never have an over center spring and B, a diaphragm clutch. There you go. No over center springs, no diaphragm clutches. Tall Garage, thank you, man. I appreciate the super chat. Starting to have too many projects at once. Going to have to be making a cylinder head for my Ford straight 6 300, chopping and welding LS heads together and swap into my Fox body. Hopefully, it'll get me the subs. Tall Garage, that is a fantastic project. That's something that I will follow myself. Oh God, hey Kathy, if you're watching this, I'm at the shop. Kathy's at the house. Kat, if you're watching this, go sub to Tall Garage because I want to watch that. I want to see that whole thing happening. Absolutely. Very cool project, by the way. Very cool project. Let's see. Serge, do you still prefer leather for accelerator pumps? Uh, I mean, you know, if it's got a leather pump, I'll leave the leather pump. Uh, I don't, Tony, you love the Bob Ross impressions with the black paint. In my mind, there were so many things that I wanted to do with that. And I was like, no, don't get carried away. And I didn't do it like to the end of the video. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, there was like as I was filming it, there were so many like Bob Ross things that were going through my head, you know. So yeah, but I guess I kind of piled them up at the end. Uh, Mike Batista, I like electronic fuel injection. Well, I mean, brother, there are people who like to put like fruit in their ass. I mean, it's like it takes all different types. So I mean, sure, I do not judge you, Mike. I do not judge you. Um, the Pirate Apache. If you're building a junkyard engine, should you just freshen the bottom end up or just run it as is? Granted, it's not already screwed up. I like to go through them, man. I honestly, I like to go through them. It's going to cost you a set of gaskets, but if you can at least eyeball everything that's in there, and you should, at the very least, you should drop the oil pan and just make sure that the screen is clear and everything else. Does it really hurt to pop a rod cap off and just get a general idea what's going on? I mean, yeah, lots of people will just take a junkyard motor and throw it in. That's fine. But no. I really want to eyeball all of this stuff. Let's see. You love the engine painting video. Great info. I'm a detail nut and the nice engines, but rattle can never last. Yeah, I know. Mike Batista. Hey, I watch all the YouTube car guys. Okay, Mike. Oh, you've been around for a long time now. You've been hanging around in our lives for like several months, right? You've been hanging around since the Hemi built, since we built the Hemi and the GTX. Mike, okay, so you watch all the car guys, right? Where do I rank? Okay, I don't know. Forget about I. Where does Uncle Tony's Garage rank in the? We're better than who and not as good as who. I want to get Mike's opinion on this. Let's see. Happy Paint. One day I'm putting Mike on the spot. I'm not really putting him on the spot. I'm asking his opinion. Okay, UTG is better than who, but not as good as who. He says Richard Holdner. Is that guy even still on YouTube? I'm the Mopar guy. Come on, Mike. I'm putting you, Mike. I'm putting you on the spot, Mr. Coppercoat. I'm putting you on the spot. I'm okay in the general world of Mopar YouTube guys, right? I'm ahead of who, but not as good as who. Nate Van Landingham. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Not better than VGG. Okay, that's cool. He is my number one, but I watch more of your stuff than anyone else. Well, I appreciate that. I got to say something about that car, man. The independent Chevelle. Have you guys seen this? Okay. Have you seen this? Okay. That car blows my mind. All right. That car absolutely freaking blows my mind. He ran, I think he ran a 1030 with it. Okay. He ran like a 1030 with this thing. But that's not the impressive part. The impressive part is how that damn car runs. It has got so much bottom end and mid range torque. Okay, he's got an in car, he's got a GoPro view of the car going down the track, right? And he goes like this. He goes like this, right? And it's like it's just driving on a freaking highway, 1030 at 130 miles an hour. I'm like, holy shit! What kind of bottom end does this thing have? It's got like unreal, insane 4,000 RPM torque. It's crazy. I'm blown away by that car. Absolutely blown away by what he did with that car. Okay, Mike Batista. Let's go back. I got to find Nick's Garage is up there with UTG. All right. Not better than Scotty Kilmer. Ahead of Motor Trend, but can't touch zippers. Okay. I'm dealing with this. I'm going with Gromer. No Gromer. He said he's turning Independence loose and blowing the doors off tomorrow. I'm telling you, that car just absolutely surprised me. I mean, that thing it works like no car I've ever seen or heard before. It's amazing. Doug's Maintenance Shop, my latest YouTube circulation. Bicycle Garage, UTG, David Vizard, Savidio, never heard of him. Chief McCoy, I've never heard of him either. I pepper in a few others. Okay. Independence is small. No, it's a blown big block. Nope, UTG is better than Nick's. Thank you. For Mopar stuff, there ain't many Mopar guys on YouTube. There were a few. That 10-volt will break. You know something? That car leaves with so little violence. That I'm telling you, watch that car run. It has there's no violence. There is no indication, sound or vision that car is covering ground the way it covers. It is truly a thing of beauty. I mean, he's got that dial there. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. You don't take my word for it. Go watch the videos that he posted over the last couple of days. Amazing. There was no way I would have thought that car would go so fast. I said to myself, when I looked at the whole thing, I'm like, it car probably go like 1150, 1140. I think if you get down to that range, I think that's running really good. No, that bitch runs a full second faster than that effortlessly. It's really an amazing car. Let's see. David J., whatever happened to calling out Freiberger and Dulcich on the junkyard rebuild call out? I'm tired of dealing with children, right? I don't deal with children. Jimmy Fed, they have a lot of timing pulled out of it to save the rear. Whatever they got done, I didn't pay too much attention to what they were talking about as far as tune-up and shit goes. I mean, I was really honestly, I couldn't sit through the whole video, so I was like fast forwarding just to like where I saw the car on the track and then see the results. So I missed all of the stuff in between. You know what I mean? But so I don't know what they had in terms of timing or setup or anything like that. I just wanted to watch the car run, and it's not disappointing, man. It is totally not disappointing. That's a one bad bitch of a car. Spider-Man, UTG, Bicycle Garage, the Old Man's Garage is your top three. That's the Street Racing Channel's father, the guy from that, because I've caught a couple of episodes of that. Let's see. Joe Jackson, Steve Magnanti's channel is growing nicely. It absolutely is. I like his videos a lot. Even the model videos are cool. I mean, listen, Steve's just an all-around car guy, man. He's like, he's an enthusiastic encyclopedia about everything, and that's why everything he does is good. Period. The end. You know what I mean? I've never seen him put out a bad product. He's really good. Let's see. Fast Night. I like Mike Finnegan over Farberger. Finnegan, I've never met him, but he seems like a straight up guy. You know what I mean? Ernest Green, Vice Grip Garage was only certed to 10.3, 130, so he held back. Well, he's only got a roll bar in it, so he shouldn't have been able to. Well, yeah, okay, he could go as fast as 135 miles an hour. He's good. He's good to 999 with the setup that he's got there. Wrench, did I get you super chat, bro? I didn't know. I don't have any recent super chats up here. Let me see. I'm going back in case I missed one. Usually, Wrench, they let me know if I miss a super chat, and nope. Boy, it's been a long while since we got a super chat. I'm just saying. Jeremy Miltalka, you and Richard should kiss and make up. You guys are both incredibly talented. It would be awesome to see you guys have a Chrysler engine competition build. I take nothing away from Richard. I take that when Richard started his channel, I was the first to promote. I right away I was promoting him. I was sharing his stuff and everything. I had him on the show and everything. I take nothing away from Richard. I take nothing away from Richard's talent or knowledge. He knows what he's talking about. He's good at what he does. But on a personal level, I do not like him. And that's the way it is, and that's the way it's going to stay. But I take nothing away from his knowledge or his talent or his abilities. No, I take nothing away from him. So let's make that straight. I'm not saying anything bad about what he does. I just do not like him as a person, and that's the end of that. Auto 1303. Most channels are just showing what they are doing. UTG shows you what you can do. Yeah, that's the whole point. That's the whole point. Let's see. Colleen, thank you. Bicycle Garage now has one AHRA sticker on Independence and one on the Monty. Wow, that's nice. I gave my other two to Motion Raceworks for El Toro, trying to support AHRA. Well, thank you, Colleen. I'm gonna have Dallas send you replacement stickers on me. I'll cover that. So just send Dallas a message, right? Saying Tony said he'll cover my stickers, and let him send you however many stickers that you want, and I'll pay for them. Thank you. You dig Alan Milliard's work. Well, Alan Milliard is another form of life. Alan Milliard is not even human, okay? I don't know what he is. He's just a higher level of organism that nobody else can measure up to. So, Morski's Repair. I've never seen Morski's Repair, but I've heard of it. Doug Dunn, I always want to see a Yanko Corvair in person. I've never seen one. Milliard is a mad genius, bro. I'm telling you, he's like another level of human. I watched a couple of his videos. The end results of what he does is just spectacular. He cuts these motors apart and sticks them back together again, and when he's finished, you cannot tell. It looks exactly factory. But then when he showed how he separates all of this stuff with a freaking hacksaw, right? He cuts these engines apart with a hacksaw. He cuts his crankshafts apart with a freaking hacksaw and then sticks them all back together again. It looks exactly factory. At that point, I was like, you are not human. You know what I mean? You're just not human. You're something far beyond what we're capable of. Holder knows turbo LS. He knows a lot more than turbo LSs. It's his specialty, but the guy knows a lot. He's a very smart person. Let's see. Andy G's Garage, there was a New Yorker at Sick Week running a stick shift 55 Chevy, completely badass. I haven't really watched many of their videos. I just fast forwarded through a couple of them. Holy shit, it's the Junkyard Jet guys.
Yeah, we're heading out.
You look tired.
Well, we cleaned up the shop.
Oh, all right.
Well, at least that corner where all our stuff was.
All right. You want to say hi to everybody from us?
Yeah. Drop all this stuff. I won't sit on the couch.
Yeah, don't sit on the couch. That's like way too gay. So
What's up, guys?
Just a little bit homosexual.
Just a little.
You can sit on the couch for a minute. You got to come on.
This is good.
So let's see. Yes, it's the JJ crew. Don't force them to sit on the couch. No. So what do you guys bring everybody up to speed what you guys been doing?
Well, the engine's complete for the most part. Just need a couple of plugs and a belt.
The motor's a jewel. It's beautiful. You got to see what these guys have done.
And we took the doors apart and we weighed everything that came out of it. We got what was it, Joe?
Like 25 pounds out of it.
Yeah. So all the doors are out. They're all gutted.
Excellent.
So now we got to get it jacked up and start getting the cage put in.
And when's that going to happen?
Next week.
Okay, so it's because I want to. We should do a live.
Yeah.
We should do a live while you guys are doing that. Maybe we're running as a fundraiser.
Sure.
Yeah.
You guys, if we were to get together next Sunday and do a live while these guys put the roll bar in the car, you guys want to join in on that? Yeah, sounds like a good idea.
Plus the Magnum's about ready to run.
Yes, the Magnum is going to go. The Junkyard Jet is going to run. Yes, it is. I got all the faith in the world in these guys. They're awesome. It's going to Dallas's. Dallas is going to put it on his run stand so he can break the motor in and do all of that stuff, make sure that everything's functioning the way it's supposed to function. So that'll happen within the next week or two.
It's too pretty to start. Like
It is too pretty.
It's too pretty for that car.
It is. It is. So all right. So say goodnight to everybody and go away.
See y'all.
Let me deal with this.
See y'all.
Yeah.
You guys really look tired.
Yeah, we're tired.
I still got to do like 3 loads of laundry before I go to work tomorrow.
I gotta work tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm at work now.
Yeah. Well, we'll see y'all.
Only
All right.
slightly jealous.
Yeah, only a little jealous.
Only a lot jealous.
No, you'll be sitting in this chair before you know it. You'll be doing this stuff before you know it.
I freaking hope so, man.
Anyway, we'll see you, Tony.
Good night, guys.
Oh.
Julia Rose, I want to thank you for helping me find Kathy Lowe's physics and history. You can't win, you can't break even, and you can't even get out of the game. The 3 laws of thermodynamics. Oh, okay. Well, I never heard a phrase that way. You can't break even. That's true. You can't get out of the game. Oh, you can't break. Wait. You can't win. You can't break even, and you can't even get out of the game. I've never heard it. I've never heard the laws of thermodynamics phrased that way. Oh, good night, Nate. Let's see. Deborah Morgan, I've got a good question. Where can you get the brass bushings to stop vacuum leaks at the carburetor butterfly valve on the shift on the carbide? I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, I've never done it. I've never really come across a situation where I had a bad enough vacuum leak at the throttle shaft bushing to worry about it. You could try contact Vintage Muscle Car Parts. Go to vintagemusclecarparts.com and tell him I sent you, and he'll hook you up. Eric Jackson is his name. He's ultimate carburetor guru. So vintagemusclecarparts.com, and if he can't supply you with them, I'm sure he'll be able to tell you where to get them. But she explains it so well. Okay. Let me see what that was, Julia. Hang on. Let me go back to what you had said. Because I want to watch that now. You've got my curiosity. I'm going to listen to that on the way home. Help me find. Kathy Loves Physics and History. Is that the name of it? Kathy Loves Physics and History? Oh, hey, Professor Gins, what's happening, man? With blown motor, turbo, or supercharger components cheaper than they have ever been, and the cheapest way to make horsepower, I'm surprised you haven't done any projects like that. We will. Okay, Julia, I'm gonna listen to that on the way home. That sounds cool. I like when people break down stuff like that, right? Um, so Professor Gins, we will. Um, okay, I've been catering the channel, the general tech of the channel towards people who are trying to learn. Like, okay, I talk a lot about the theory of different fuels, of different types of, normally aspirated versus turbocharged, supercharged, or nitrous oxide. We talk a lot about the theory of those things, but for the most part, people who are following builds that we're doing are really, really basic guys working out in a garage. They just don't necessarily have a couple of grand to throw. Because, okay, yeah, you can buy a cheap turbocharger, but then you still need all of the stuff to put around it. So we will be doing forced induction stuff down the road. But first, I'll only do that after I feel that we've exhausted the low dollar, backyardable, normally aspirated stuff. But I mean, I talk a lot about different fuels and different types of forced induction and everything. So it's not like I ignore it. I just haven't built anything like that. All right. Mopar Magician, it's impossible to get a roller cam for a 3D3 right now. I believe that. Mike Batista, you need that $1,000 blow through carb. Oh yeah, there's always, right. I know it's like, yeah, you get the $75 teriyaki tornadoes. You can buy them all day long, right? But there's all the plumbing, and no, it's just not that cheap. Plus, there's no shortage of people doing stuff like that. You know what I mean? There's people all over YouTube building supercharged, turbocharged. There's no shortage of it, right? And it's not like I'm not trying to compete with other channels like, oh, who's going to build the craziest thing or the fastest thing. I'm trying to build a community here where people who are learning the arts and the crafts of cars and hot rodding and classic cars and all that can just I think of us as a resource. Okay, like we're a resource. We're not trying to impress anybody. We're just trying to be a resource. Professor, okay, you think roller cams are kind of expensive for the horsepower they provide? Do you know how expensive it is to have a flat tappet cam go bad? You see what I'm saying? It's like a false economy anymore. There have been so many people having so that's why now just about everything I build, I plan a roller into it, unless it's a cam, like for instance the cam that's going into the 3D3 they're putting in Slaghammer. That's one that I've had. It's an old cam I've had sitting on the shelf for 10 years with old lifters, OEM Chrysler lifters that are broken into that cam. But if it wasn't for that, if I had to go buy new, no, man, I'll spring for the roller. I'll do whatever I have to do to make it a roller. One for the road. The UTG formula is close to unique on YouTube. Best to keep it that way. I'm trying. You know what I mean? I'm trying. Nate B, tips for getting ancient grease Zerks to take grease. Heat? No, man, take them out. Unscrew your ancient grease Zerk and screw a new one in. You can buy a whole package of them for like $4. Colleen, UTG, thanks, but Dallas already knows and is sending me replacements. Cool. Okay, I'll pay. I'll throw him something. The last flat topic cam you put in, it was pretty easy to find a new old. It's not easy anymore. The wrench, thank you, brother man. eBay seller lives in Australia, won't send to US. I need an intake not sold in US anymore to be sent here. Can someone help? Can someone help the wrench with his shipping issues? you have an eBay seller that lives in Australia and won't send to the US. And I understand why. We stopped sending stuff to Australia because the prices are ridiculous and things get lost. It's off the chain. It's bad, right? But if anybody can help the wrench, he's needing to get an intake not sold in the US to be sent here. So if anybody can help him, go for it. You have a free intake. Okay. FI Performance. I have a 383 stroker small block Chevy that's missing and popping at idle and mid-range. If hold it wide open final, it will bog, then clear up and rev. Okay, missing and popping at idle. Bog and okay, you've got an over-adjusted intake valve someplace in that mix. I'll almost guarantee. There's several things it could be. Several things could be like a head gasket issue. There's a bunch of things it can be, but I'll almost guarantee you have a. Okay, I'll tell you what. I came across your exact problem about 2 years ago, and it was a small block Chevy doing exactly that, missing and popping an idle, and not wanting to take throttle, but that once RPM came up, it was all right, and it was a lifter. There was an intake lifter that had the snap ring that holds the plunger down. Well, the snap ring had popped out of the lifter, and so as the engine was running, the lifter was over pumping. Right, it was over pumping. It was more preload than it became more preload because the plunger was free to rise than the motor would tolerate. The intake valve wasn't staying closed long enough. And it was giving those exact problems. So I would say that could be it, or just an over-adjusted intake will do the same thing. Mike Batista, well, so many guys are still running flat top of cams because they won't spend the $1,000. You pays your money and you takes your chances, right? That's what it comes down to. It's a gamble. You roll on a friggin' dice, and some people are willing to roll the dice. I've gotten to that point now. I really don't want to roll those dice anymore. I got bit in the ass a couple of times, and I just don't want to deal with it. One for the road. Had the same thing happen with a cheap hydraulic lifter. Snap ring went MIA. Yep, I'm telling you that. Then it'll give you all the exact symptoms that he's talking about there. Dylan Martin, Uncle Tony, I used your engine paint technique on my Magnum's kegger manifold, and it's turning out greater with my approximate Rusto Chrysler engine blue. Congratulations. Let's see. Zero, I got so lucky with my sealed power lifters and push rods. Thank Jesus Chrysler and Holy Mother Mopar. I mean, not everybody has a failure, right? But if even 10% of the people out there messing with this stuff have failures that's a big number, man. That's 10% of the people who are doing a simple cam swap that are not going to tear their whole shit down and throw away their oil pump. And it's a good chance. You know what I found too on engines that eat cam bearings or that eat lifters? For some reason, it tears out the cam bearings, especially like on the small block Chrysler. The number one cam bearing just eats it out. And I don't know why. I haven't really dissected as to why that is. But, it's rough these days. Iron Guts, it truly doesn't pay to try to save on lifters. You are right. And I'm telling you, like, if we were having this conversation 3 years ago, we were like, no big deal. Bad lifters, you're not going to get a bad lifter. I mean, not anymore, man. I am paranoid through and through, and I'll be the first to admit it. Is that Kiwi? Kiwi's Classic and Customs. Kiwi, what's happening, brother, man? We were just talking about you before and the Hemi Mitsubishi. You know, Kev the Kiwi is missing you. That bird, man, that bird. I'm telling you, that was weird, bro. It was weird. That thing had it was. I know it doesn't have eyes, but it was still. You know what I mean? It was like trying to drill through my psyche. It was bad. It was bad. So I don't want to deal with that thing, man. Kiwi's Custom Classics. Go sub to his channel. He's a great guy. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff together. So yeah, definitely. I'm sure a bunch of you guys have already subbed to him. He was on the show last Sunday night, I believe. Danny Boyd, Bengals lost. It's what they do. Did they not get enough home runs? How did there? I don't know. I mean, what happened? It's terrible. I hope nobody was killed. Paul Shea, Tom Muse did a great video on the detailed lifter metal problem. I didn't know that. Oh yes, I saw that. Okay. Fubar just put the link. There it is. Scroll the thing. Fubar just put the link to Kiwi's channel. So go over there and sub to Kiwi. And he's gonna do an update on that. And I want to be part of the update on that 68 satellite with a 446 pack. One for the road. UTG. I think they missed the 3-pointers. You know what? Because they have terrible goalies, is what it is. They have terrible goalies. They don't know what they're doing. They're bad goalies. One bad 10. Watching your videos made me so meticulous on building engines. Just finished up my 68 GTO, which has a turbo LS. Made 1,030 to the wheels. Nice. That's gonna be a lot of fun to stick your foot in there, man. I don't know how watching my videos, because I'm not the most meticulous guy. You know what I mean? I'm okay, but I'm far from meticulous. But I'm glad you got something out of it. Because maybe it's one of those things where the ideology gets transferred, but not necessarily practices. You know. Uncle Bed, Big Bad. I gave up all sports when I discovered girls and cars. You're right. LO23 talk about the 83 turbine program. That's the one they did with a Cordoba, I believe, a Chrysler Cordoba, but I don't know anything about it. I have very vague, knowledge of that. Maybe somebody here knows more than I do. I'm sure people know more than I do about that. Makes 1030 to the wheels. It gets 90 miles to the gallon. All right, you had me there. Okay. I should have known you were trolling me when you said you got meticulous work habits from me. Professor again, you are meticulous. You have seen the results of being sloppy. There are certain places where I am meticulous. Yeah, but and that's because I know what failure is like. So yeah, there are certain areas where I would consider myself to be meticulous, but it's like a very small percentage of the overall bigger picture. Meticulous for me is the wrong word. Sanitary and organized. I try to be organized, and I definitely try to be sanitary. But meticulous doesn't really fit my personality. John Wilburn, 1,030 to the wheels and 90 miles per gallon. Must have a Venazzi hot vapor setup on it. Super hot vapor. He actually has a thing that creates a fireball in the intake tract. He's gone beyond the vapor. He has an actual fireball in the intake runner, and that gets faded. It gets rammed down by the turbocharger. It takes the fireball and jams it down into the piston, and that the car runs on that now. They've gone to the next step. No longer vaporization. Now they're working with fireballs. UT, what parts are you currently hoarding? Not too much. I have an assortment of like cranks and rods and blocks and heads and shit like that. I wouldn't really consider myself hoarding anything, but I tell you what. Oh, bolts, man! I hoard fasteners like there's no tomorrow. I have tons of fasteners. But really not hoarding anything specifically right now. But seeing what I'm seeing now, okay, I would suggest if you're into a specific type of car to start hoarding all of the stuff you need to make this thing run. I was just at Nashville Engine Parts. I needed to pick up 20 and 40 rods and mains for backwards, 20 and 40 mains and rods for Big Block Chrysler. Did not have them on the shelf. They had to be ordered in. He found me the last set of mains in the whole friggin' system. I got to go back Monday to pick them up. He's saying that his shelves, he's never had his shelves as bare, and things that were common that you'd be able to get like anywhere, drying up. Things like even simple things like head gaskets for a Big Block, not currently available. And somebody was just saying about through them. I mean, I'm sure they're available in other places, but the supplies are drying up. Somebody was just saying about the roller cam for the 383, not available anywhere. The Junkyard Jet guys had a hell of a time, finding a roller cam for the Magnum, right? So currently, supplies of things that we rely on to build hot rods and shit like that are drying up. So if you've got something you care about and you plan on holding on to and running and everything in the future, start hoarding parts. Ford door spark modules are getting hard to find. Bro, lots of things like that are getting hard to find. Professor Giddens, Big Blocks haven't been sold for almost 40 years. Supply will end. Yeah, but here's the thing, okay? Here's the thing. They haven't been sold in over 40 years, but they're screwed around with on a regular basis. You see what I'm saying? They're screwed around with on a regular basis. So you get somebody who, let's say they race a 440 car, okay? It gets freshened up every year or two, right? That thing it's constantly cycling through parts. You're constantly cycling usable parts through it. So that's why the supply for things like Big Block Mopars hasn't been built for more than 40 years. Hasn't been built since 1978, right? But parts have always been readily available for them because the people who do have them use them, and they change cams, and they change cranks, and they swap cylinder heads, they do all sorts of things on a regular basis. And so engine manufacturers, parts manufacturers have kept a steady supply of these things, but there's still as many people screwing around with them, but the supply of the parts isn't there now, or the supply of the parts is drying up. Joseph Gini, you think conservation instead of over-the-shoulder throwaway? Well, see, that's something I've always been like. If I tear down a motor and I find that it has good bearings in it, right? Where there's no obvious signs of wear or anything like that, I save them. I didn't have any in the size that I need for this 383, but I saved that stuff because if it's not worn, it's not worn. It's the same as if you took a new one out of the box, And I have found that there are times when you need a rod bearing, and the parts store isn't open or it's too far away, or whatever the situation happens to be. I like to have that stuff on hand. So I will save things that are obviously not worn, use parts that are not worn. But that's gonna become, if you're gonna survive in this thing, that's gonna become part of your game plan going forward, because over the next year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, I mean, things are gonna get really freaking crazy, okay? I mean, really crazy, and there's nothing you're gonna do to stop it. It's like everything is cast in stone right now, and it's gonna happen whether you like it or not. So if you want to keep screwing around with cars, you better start hoarding the shit that you need now. Rob R., I'm trying to buy machine shop equipment to make a lot of my own parts in the future. A small mom and pop machine shop is going to be a very, very valuable thing in the next couple of years. There's a lot of machine shops that have gone out of business over the last 10, 15, 20 years. There's a lot of that machinery out there. I would really seriously start looking if I was inclined. I'm not inclined to do it, right? Some people are. I'm not. Maybe if it was like 40 years ago, 30 years ago, I would definitely set up a machine shop for myself. I'm not there anymore, man. I'm just not into it anymore. But yeah, if you're inclined, if that's the kind of business that you think you could be happy doing, well, jump into it now, right? Welding, fabrication, machining. I mean, all of these things are going to be extremely valuable businesses and trades to be in as time evolves. Yeah, machinists are retiring. I'm telling you, it's going to be a huge growth industry. Mike Batista, I don't look forward to EVs and self-driving 18-wheelers. You don't have to look forward to them because they're not coming. They're not practical. They will not catch on. They're pipe dreams. You're Roadmaster K, you're blacksmithing one step further back. Hey, why not, right? Mr. Will, thank you, sir. Tone, what was the biggest dying art you see going away soon? What is the biggest dying art you see going away soon? Mr. Will, you ask a question that I really have to think about. And it's a really good question. Dying art. Well, machining is one thing. That's like the simple answer. It comes right to the front of my head because it's what we're talking about now. And yes, machinists, old school machinists are retiring at 65, 75 years old. And they just can't. It's very to run a machine shop is extremely physical because I hung around machine shops. I never actually worked in a machine shop, but I spent plenty of time in machine shops, and so I know the you know what I mean. It's a backbreaking life. Yeah, ready to repair is a dying art. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. Forget about answers that I'm going to come up with. Just watch the comments here because these guys are going to come up with things. You know what I mean? Have you ever had a classic car stolen? No, never had one stolen. Rebuilding starters and alternators. Joe Brennan, how would a business rebuilding carburetors do? I'll tell you what, man. I don't know about a business about rebuilding carburetors, especially. Well, okay, I don't want to get into things that are available now because they may not be available soon. But okay, I'm going to tell you right now. Okay, here's what if I had to pick a business, right? What I would see to be a growth business in the future, in the near future, is I would be making belt drive distributors and carburetor adapters for common cars. Okay, and it would have to be for cars with manual transmissions, because automatic transmissions are all computer controlled now. There's nothing you're gonna do to step around that. But if you've got a late model vehicle, you got a 2020, 2022, whatever it happens to be, okay, and 5 years down the road, you can't get this sensor, that computer, this thing, the bus system takes a shit, whatever it happens to be, and that car doesn't run, a standalone Gilmer belt drive distributor setup and carburetor adapter for late model regular applications I think would be a huge industry going forward. I could be wrong. You know what I mean? I haven't been wrong. I've been on this for like 25 years now. You know what I'm saying? My timing isn't always right, but I've seen every step of the way, including the stuff that's going on right now in the world. And I'm telling you, I would say that going forward, creating ways to operate today's cars, current cars that are out there, with a distributor and with a carburetor is going to be a growth thing. Uh, let's see. Mike Ceravilli, would it be sacrilegious to electric motor swap my 73 four-door Dart for my worn-out Snipe? I mean, you can always stick a gas motor back in the thing. You know what I mean? Try it. I don't know if it's sacrilegious. Unity Motorsports, Andy. I have a carbon distributor on my 4.6 mod motor. Runs pretty good. Stoic Steel, very few 2022 models have. I know that. Let's see. Tony, what are your thoughts on Evel Knievel? I mean, I was a child in the 60s and the 70s. Evel Knievel was like a total folk hero. One Bad 10. Thank you for the super chat. It was nice tuning in, Tony. Take it easy, brother. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. But yeah, I mean, Evel Knievel. What can you say? The guy was batshit crazy, right? And that's one of the things I like about him. I appreciate batshit crazy people who are functional, and he was functional. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and like okay, so he was batshit crazy when he was doing his thing, okay. But now as I get older and I see just how completely insane this guy was, and he was able to like do everything that he did and function and thrive in the world. I think that's just amazing, right? The world needs more Evel Knievels. Well, there's bad crazy and there's good crazy. You know what I'm saying? And there's evil crazy and there's good crazy. You know, and he was a good crazy. He was berserk, nuts, right? You know, and I'm sure the people around him had tons of problems with him. The guy he had personality disorders. Who cares? He was awesome. The true American original hero. Let's see. Doug Narden, he was a crazy man that drank like a fish, bet at every chick he's seen, and needed a fleet of semi-trucks to haul his ego. Yeah. I mean, listen, you can't take anything away from that guy. You can't take anything. He blazed his own path, right? You know, that's like, okay, I mean, really, man, that's it, okay? You know, he invented a genre and mastered it, right? Back when you could do that, you still can. If you got that special type of crazy and the drive, see, the drive is important. You know what I'm saying? Because he had drive. This was a guy, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, he's like, you know, here's the difference between Evel Knievel and like the average person, okay? Evel Knievel's busted up from head to toe, healing up, body cast, whatever it is, IV drips and the whole bit. And he's not sitting there feeling sorry for himself. He's like, okay, I may not be able to use this arm anymore, so how do I jump with that, right? And you see what I'm saying? This is a guy who was always like moving forward, right? He didn't, you know what I mean? This wasn't somebody who felt sorry for himself or licked his own wounds or anything like that. This guy just had balls. His balls had balls, right? And it didn't matter how busted up he got or how ridiculous the odds are or anything like that. He just didn't care. Just go, right? And that's the kind of that's the true American spirit, right? The Dirty Nubs, thank you for the super chat. I'm crazy, but I like to keep heads in the fridge. His crash at Caesar's Palace, it was, man. Every time I watch that, I mean, I've crashed a bunch of motorcycles, and I know I've never crashed anything that was even as remotely spectacular as the Caesar's Palace crash. So I think about the motorcycles that I've crashed, and I know what that feels like. I know what that whole sensation is like. But when you're bouncing around and your leg is broken behind your back here, and then the bike freaking lands on you, and I'm like, Jesus Christ! And then boom, he's back out there again. Right? Come on, that's awesome. That's just freaking awesome. He had every kid jumping bikes, including me. My father had a Mustang. I left a skid mark across the roof of his car. I was probably 8, 9 years old or thereabouts, maybe 10. I don't know. It was after I had moved to Staten Island, so it was probably in the early 70s, maybe like 72, 73. And I did that. I took a plank from a construction site that my neighbor was all construction. And I grabbed a plank and I put it on the roof rail of my father's 66 Mustang, and I rode my bicycle as fast as I could and got halfway up the ramp when I realized this was the dumbest thing I had ever done. And I laid into the brake. The back brake was, coaster brake. I laid into the brake and I left a skid mark across the roof of my father's Mustang. And I crashed, you know what I mean? Kid, doing stupid shit. And it wasn't like I went spectacularly, no, it wasn't even like that. It was like I just fell off the end of the car and landed on my ass, right? So, I mean, yeah, Evel Knievel inspired us all to do shit like that. Mr. Will, Robbie Knievel broke all his dad's records. He was much better than his father. Wait, now I'm not taking anything away from Robbie Knievel, okay? I have total respect for the guy, but there's a huge difference, okay? Evel Knievel was jumping XR fucking 750s and Triumph fucking Bonnevils, right? Evel Knievel was taking 600 pound freaking bikes and sending them, okay? And Robbie Knievel was doing it on dirt bikes. There's a huge difference. It's apples and oranges. It's not even comparable. So I'm not taking anything away from Robbie Knievel. Anybody who does, or who's that other guy? Bubba Wallace, I believe his name was. There were a bunch of these motorcycle jumpers over the years, and they've done their thing, and I respect what they do. It takes bigger balls than I have. I don't have that. I'm not that kind of balls. So I respect what they do, but what they do is not comparable in any way, shape, or form to what Evel Knievel did. Evel Knievel was riding fucking 500-pound motorcycles with stock suspensions, okay? Stock friggin' suspensions, like 5 inches of travel, and that's it, you're done, okay? And doing this stuff, okay? So yeah, apples and oranges, man. You cannot compare Evel Knievel to anybody who came after him. Anybody who can jump a Harley is untouchable. I ride those bikes. I know what it is to, I mean? I know those bikes. I know those exact bikes that I ride them. I one sitting on the other side of the camera. You can't see it here, but 5 feet away from me is a Sportster. I ride those bikes. I could not even fathom trying to jump over 20 freaking buses on that. No, just no, it ain't gonna happen. Now I've ridden dirt bikes too, and if you say, well, would you try jumping over 20 buses on a KX 250? Well, yeah, I might consider that. You know what I mean? Because I've launched in the woods, man. I've done that. I've hit, you know what I mean? So I would probably consider it. I know I could probably get a successful landing out of a dirt bike. That thing, a fucking Sportster? No, just fucking no. Uh, John Wilburn, Evil said that if he had Robbie's bike, he could jump the moon. That's the truth. Professor Goods, it was too bad the Snake River Canyon jump went sour. Oh, man, his plan for landing wasn't really all that tight. I think that Snake River Canyon thing was a blessing in disguise. And I remember watching that when it happened. I remember watching it live on the Wide World of Sports. Well, Plumman 78, he drove a custom Sportster. Yeah, he drove an XR 750. My dad is a Harley mechanic. You can hot rod the crap out of Sportster motors. Power wasn't the problem. The Sportster's got more than enough power to do it. It's got no suspension. It has the bikes that he was jumping were flat track racers. There's no suspension on those freaking things. 4 inches, 5 inches, there's no suspension. Evel Knievel had to land those bikes on the back tire. Okay, he had to land them on the back tire, like in a wheelie type of position, and gently let the front end down. If he landed both tires, or if he landed with the front end first, that's how he would crash. A dirt bike is different. The dirt bike has a huge amount of travel, very soft suspension in the front, so you could have the front tire hit first, and the suspension will still be compressing when the back tire hits, and you're okay, right? But you don't get that with a fucking Sportster. The guy was taking a 500-pound freaking Sportster and sending it. That's crazy. That's crazy. And Zero, I always liked them. Sportsters. I can still, my Uncle Chris, you like those? That's a chick bike. The only Harley Davidsons I like are Sportsters. The only ones. I have no interest in any other Harleys. I love Sportsters. Torgarage, thank you, brother. Tony, put a big bike engine in a small car. It's been done. No, I love Sportsters. You know, we're going to accumulate a lot of bikes for the Too Many Bikes channel. The goal is to have too many bikes, so that's what we're going to work towards. But I've already taken my two and put them on the side. I brought my 2002 to the house, and I have my 61 here in the office, and that's it. You know, like that's my personal stash. You know, those are mine, right? So, but you know, we're going to have a lot of bikes. Those two I'm keeping. Those are my personal bikes. Mitten Made Muscle. You can whip a Sportster around damn like like they're a dirt bike as long as you ain't jumping it. No, man. In the past, I have taken Sportsters in the dirt, and no, you cannot whip them around like that. You can manhandle them. You know what I'm saying? And if you're lucky and you pick the right line through stuff, you can probably survive. You can probably stay up on two wheels. But no, you cannot whip a Sportster around like a friggin' dirt bike. Chuck, I thought you love your whole Harley flathead. I would like a K model, man. At some point, I think I would like a K. I think the only bike I would really like to add to my world right now would be a K model. Mike Batista, you had a 750 Virago? You had what year? Because I had a bunch of when I was in New York. I had a bunch of the early ones, 83, 82, 83, 84, and I don't even remember which years they were, but the XV 750s. They were great bikes. What a great bike. Ugly and weird, but great. One of the best riding motorcycles all around. You know what I'm saying? that has ever been built. Viragos, early Viragos, are so underrated. They're fantastic bikes. Deborah Mjorgen, you used to tour with Robbie Knievel, Spanky Spangler, and the Flying Melendez. Not bad. You ran around with some good company there. '86. It was an '86 750 Virago with header pipe, sounded decent. They're the 70 degree. The Yamaha has a 70 degree V twin, which is the best sounding out of all of them. Right? The Hondas, right? No good, man. No. The 90s sound good, like your Ducatis and shit like that. The split crank pin motors, like the Hondas, don't. They sound like shit. But the 90s sound good. In my opinion, the 70 degree Yamaha, I think they got it nailed exactly. The Harley has a very distinctive thing. It's a crazy firing order. It's a crazy configuration, so it has a very unique sound. And the Ducati, the 90 degree motors make, and now the Moto Guzzi's too, right? 90 degree V twins make beautiful music too. But there's something about the 70 degree that Yamaha went with is the best sounding out of all of them. The 70 degree V twin is the best sounding out of all of them. Oh, Kiwis, and one of the Jap brands had a rotary. Yeah, Suzuki. Suzuki was into crazy stuff. They did the Water Buffalo, which was a liquid cooled 750 triple, 2-stroke triple, which I had one, and a very disappointing bike. And then right after that, they did the rotary, the RE was it the RE5 they called it? I don't even remember the name of it, but they did a rotary for a couple of years. Yeah, the Suzuki RE5, right. Jimmy Fed, Harley's a single crank pin, Yamaha is not. Well, yeah, you couldn't have a 70 with a single. I know. The Hondas are I can't think of a degree now. You know what I'm talking about, right? But yeah, you would need to have a split pin for the 70 degrees. It's all about the RD400. I love those bikes. I had an R5 that I loved. I came down when I moved to Tennessee. I came down with seven Ironhead Sportsters and an R5. You love the RD4. There's nothing to not love. Those Yamahas, man, they're just so tiny, right? It's like you know what I love. You know what I love about the Yamaha 2-strokes? Okay, it's not even like you're riding a motorcycle. It's like you put them on, right? It's like a little Yamaha 2-stroke is like it's like you an RD350. They're all the same, right? It's like you put them on. It's like you put on a pair of pants and then you put the little fucking Yamaha 2-stroke on also. It's like you wear the bike. It's like you wear the bike. And they'll turn anybody into an expert daredevil. They're so easy to wheelie and they're so easy to just, you know what I mean? Everything's so effortless with those bikes. They're magic. I don't know why nobody builds stuff like that today. Paul Shea, you'll never see a Harley in a junkyard. That's the truth. I always wanted a 535 Virago Torquey. I had one or two of those pass through my hands back in New York. I was flipping a lot of bikes. I was moving a lot of bikes. They're always coming and going. And I know I had at least one 535 Virago come through, but I wasn't impressed by it. The 750 has a whole different personality. Yeah, Honda's 60 degrees. That's what it is. It's 60 degrees. And it sounds flat. It just sounds flat. It just does not have. People put pipes on those bikes, and they're just annoying. The sound they make is just annoying. The RZ350 is, yeah, but now you're talking about a whole different type of class of bike. Now, the RZ350 is a very sophisticated motorcycle. You got to go back to the R5s and the RZ350s, and even the 400s, and they were crude. They were simple, crude bikes. They were really 1960s bikes. They hadn't advanced any. When you get to the RZs, now you're talking about a sophisticated bike. They're good bikes, but they don't have that same kind of personality that the early Yamahas have. Is it going to be a twin engine bike build? I don't know, man. Gins, you have a 750 Ninja that scares the hell out of you. They're good bikes, man. They're good bikes. Jimmy Fed, I had and rode for a few years a 1950 Ariel Square 4. It had massive character, sold it to Sid Chadwick, which is Jay Leno's East Coast buyer. You know something? I've never even seen one of those bikes in person. That's something that I would really love to see. That's something, an Ariel Square 4 is something I've never even seen. That's got to be a real, Numbnuts, you like your Hondas, but you really miss your 750 Yamaha Triple. I didn't like those. The 4-cylinder 750, man. I say 4-cylinder 750. The 750 Triple. I didn't like those, and I don't like the Triumphs either. I don't like the Triumphs either. The 4-stroke 3-cylinder engine just doesn't sit right. It doesn't sound right. They run okay, but they don't. It's just not right, Dirty Nose, I'm picturing a wall of death inside UTG World Headquarters. Doug's Maintenance Shop, the Honda Guzzi there, the CX500, the CX650. CX650, I rode one of those. I never owned one, but I rode one, and it was a cool bike. I've always dug those and wanted to do a build. You look at it, you say, well, the thing's it's kind of like want to torque off to the side, right? Same thing with the Guzzis. Yeah, it's like you feel it, you feel it. It's going to want to, it's going to want to, but it doesn't. It's amazing how there is no, you don't really get any torque reaction, at least for the ones that I've ridden. Like the lack of torque reaction from that inline motor like that is kind of strange, but it's not there. The CB754 was a nice bike back in the day. The CB754 was the 754 cylinder was the bike that changed the world. That's the bike that absolutely changed the world. I had a 750 Custom, a CB750 Custom that was like my winter bike for a couple of years. I had this big ass windjammer fucking windshield on the thing, and guards for because I used to ride year round. So if it was just zero and you know what I mean, that's the bike I would jump on. So I got a couple of years out of that thing where I only rode it like really during the shittiest times of the year, snowstorms and shit like that. I would ride my 750 Custom, and that was a great bike, man. That was a great bike. But then I had for a couple of weeks I had a 900 with the twin shift. What the hell they call it? It's late and I'm tired. I only had that bike for a couple of weeks, and I didn't like that bike at all. It was like a locomotive. It looked exactly like the 750, but it was just different enough. It was like there's just an inch or two difference in wheelbase and that much more mass, of the drivetrain because of that transmission. And it was like the only way I could describe it was like riding a sluggish locomotive. Even though it had plenty of power, but it felt sluggish. They missed the mark. They jumped the shark. They should have just left it at the CB750, the double RB cam motor, and just left it at that. But you go in that next step to the 900, they did 1,000 after that too. It was the step too much. It didn't fit the bike. Paul Cavazzolo, are you guys going to do a video riding the tail of the dragon? That would be a lot of fun. Yeah, I'd like to. That's not far from here. It's only about 100 miles away. It's all about the Briggs and Stratton mini bike. Doug Nardin, I can make a Briggs and Stratton mini bike engine fly way more RPM. Then you need to get together. You need to get to the Mopar to the No Name Nationals. Get in there and race one. Sid, you was impressed by the locomotive video. I enjoyed doing that. John Wilburn and I went and did that. We went to Carlisle, and I left Carlisle, and I said, let's go to the Railroad Museum. So I had that was one of the most enjoyable afternoons I've had in the longest time. Thank you, John. Doug Nardin, I thought it was a Honda Monkey spec race. No, did you see? That's the confusion. No. It's not a Honda Monkey race. It's a mini bike race. They're calling it a monkey bike race, but it has nothing to do. I just had this conversation with them like last week. It has nothing to do with Honda Monkeys. It has to do with these little 100cc Coleman mini bikes. And there's a couple of different versions of it. Coleman sells them at Tractor Supply. They're black. And that's identical bike sold by somebody else, and it's red. But no, it's 100cc mini bike. Mike Batista, the one thing I hate was everything was backwards on the old Triumphs. Well, it's all backwards on my 61 here too, because the Sportster was patterned after the Brit bikes. So yeah, the shifter's on the wrong side, or the brakes on the wrong side. It takes every time I get on one of those bikes, it always takes me 3 or 4 times. When I go to shift it, I'm not stepping on the brake. You know what I mean? Oh Jesus, we're getting late. I can't believe we're running up on 2 hours now already. All right, I'm see. Once we start talking about bikes, like I don't want to leave. Right? I'm tired of talking about cars. Once we start talking about bikes, I'm like, oh yeah, right. I get like a kid. I get like a fucking kid. Yeah, Wild Rose Garage. It takes about 5 minutes to get used to the right side shift, then you're golden. Yeah, but I mean, I've been riding right side shift bikes on and off for like 40 freaking years. I can't tell you how many of them I've ridden, but every freaking time it gets me. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's like the neuroplasticity doesn't really work anymore. Like you can't instantly adapt. So it's not like it's a new concept to me, but every time I do it. Every time I ride my 61. Same thing, right? I go to put it in gear and I'm hitting the brake. Fast thing. What is the fastest bike you have rode? The fastest bike I ever rode was this thing called the Satana. Okay, this belonged to my brother Ralph. We were up in New York. He bought this thing. I have no idea what it actually ran. I have no idea what it ran. It was a katana. Okay, I know, right? A katana of all things. It was a freaking katana, and it had a motor from a Suzuki drag bike in it. It was like a sleeper. Okay, it was red, and he bought this thing off of. Oh God, I can't remember who he bought it off. He bought it off of a guy that we knew who bought it off somebody else. So the guy that he bought it from rode it once and said, done. I'm not riding this bike again, right? And he sold it to Ralph. So Ralph calls me up one day. He says, "You got to see this bike that I just bought." He had a gas station a couple miles from me. So he says, "You got to see this bike I just bought. It's a Katana. It's a Suzuki Katana." And I'm like, and I had a Katana at the time. I had a 600 Katana that was sitting in my fucking and was this thing was virgin, right? And it was slow. It was a Katana. Katana's a touring bike. It's not a hot rod bike. So he says, "You got to come and check this Katana out." And I'm like, "Why?" He says, "Just come and ride this bike." I says, "All right, fine, right?" So I go down to his place, and the bike is sitting there, and it looks kind of like, I can't really put my finger on it. There's something different about it, but I couldn't really put my finger on it. Okay. And he's like, "Take this thing down the block and tell me what you think." And I'm like, "It's a fucking Katana." He says, "You'll taste the fear." I says, "Okay, fine." So I did. I start the bike. It sounds raspy as fuck, right? Just instant throttle response. And I pull the bike down the road next to his gas station, and I leaned into the throttle a little bit, and I was like, "Oh, that thing feels really good." And I snapped it open. When I snapped it open, she hiked the front end. I'm like, "Whoa!" I let off the throttle. I hit second, snapped it open again. This thing goes for a freaking moonshot. And I was like, "This is impossible. This is not a friggin'..." Okay, so I don't know how fast this thing was. I don't know what was done to it. I don't know what motor was in it. I have no idea. It was ungodly fast. Now, I'll tell you how ungodly fast it was, right? He kept the bike for a little while. We kept it around. It was like a curiosity, okay? It was like anybody who came by was like, "Take that thing for a ride and tell me what you think," right? And everybody would come back with the same, "Holy shit," right? So, and when I tell you this thing was easy Hayabusa fast. Easy Hayabusa. I've ridden Hayabusa. Easy Hayabusa fast, but without any of the Hayabusa like sophistication. So this thing was just like brutal. Okay, so he sold it. He sold it to me. I kept it for a little while, right? And then I sold it to somebody else. I sold it to this like Romanian kid. He was like, he had like an accent. So about a year later, I run into him, or I'm riding down the street. I'm running into him. He's got the Satana, okay, and it sounds like shit, right? And I'm like, "Why does the bike sound so bad?" And he says, "I had a fire, right? And it melted one of the carburetors and melted all kinds of stuff, right?" So I says, "Well, do you want to sell the bike?" And he says, you want to give me like $200 for it?" I was like, "Sold." So I bought the bike back again, and it's got 3 cylinders. And on the way home from buying it from this guy, I run into another friend of mine who's got a 600. What was it? It wasn't a Gixxer. It wasn't a Ninja. It was a what was it? It doesn't matter. It was one of the 600 sport bikes of the day. This is like around 1999 or 2000, and I fucking raced them on 3 cylinders from a dig on the Richmond Parkway, and I beat the motherfucker on 3 cylinders. Right? The Satana was the fastest, most brutal thing I have ever ridden. Wild Rose Garage, all this bike talk. Now I want to go get my old Triumph 650 again. I would probably take a Beezer. I love the Beezers. I had 2 A65s. I had one that was like exactly stock. It was just like untouched. And I had one that was chopped. I didn't chop it. I bought it that way. And it was like the classic Brit chopper. And the twisted spoke T, bars, right? It was so, right? I always regret getting rid of those. Have you ever ridden an SCI? No, I have not. VMAX. Oh yeah, VMAXs are awesome. VMAXs are awesome. My friend Brandon, Haynes has a VMAX, and he came by here. I guess it was, I don't know, maybe like 4 or 5 months ago. It was still like summer, and he came back and he was like, "Look at my VMAX," I'm like, oh, it's fucking beautiful. He says, take it for a ride. He says, no, I'm not touching that fucking bike. There's no way. I've ridden VMAXs. I'm not riding that thing because then I'm going to have to go out and get myself a freaking VMAX. And so, no. Ever owned a Jawa? No, I have not. I've never ridden one. I've never owned one. I don't think I've ever actually seen one in person. Daniel, so you've got a first gen VMAX? It's still $6,000 or $7,000 for a nice VMAX. I know. Have you ridden a CZ or a Zundap? No, I have not. The one bike I've never ridden, but I really want to ride is a 400 Cross. That's the one that Malcolm Smith was riding all through on any Sunday, and that's like, you know, 'cause there aren't too many. I worked on bikes. I had a bike shop, you know, at my house. I was working on bikes all the time, so I got to ride like everything, you know. Plus, I had this compulsion where I just compulsively buy bikes, and I'd hold on to them for a week or 2, 3 weeks, whatever, and then off them and get something else. I had 28 bikes in my house when I lived in New York, so I've had a lot of bike experience. But the one that I've always wanted to ride, and I've never come across one that I would have a chance to, is a 400 Cross. That would be like okay, so everybody has their like, you know, their dream quest. You know what I mean? Like I think mine would be, I don't want to own one. I don't want the responsibility of owning one, but I would love to ride a fucking 400 Cross. Noah Learn. Hey, Tony, I have a 65 Dart. I want to go to the No Name Nationals. Haven't started a channel yet. Do you think I have time? Yes, you do, man. Jump on it. Go for it. You got plenty of time. Mr. Will, Tone, London broil or sirloin tip? Sirloin tip, but really, man, I'm a tenderloin guy. It's, to me, it's worth it to spend the extra bucks and I'm going to chow down on beef, man. Yeah, I don't like this. I don't like to chintz on that. I'll spend the bucks. Doug's Maintenance, you got 2 vintage Vespa PXs sitting in the garage now. Very cool bikes. Very cool bikes. Yeah, Mike. RD350s. I mean, honestly, they weren't really okay in their day. They were fast. Like if you ride if you're accustomed to like a modern bike, you know, the power that a modern bike puts out, then you would be very disappointed in an RD350. But not everything is power. A lot of it is just feel. And those small Yamahas, man, they feel a lot faster than they actually are. Just like the Kawasaki triples. They feel so much faster than they actually are. Prime rib roast finish on a grill. Too fatty, man. Too fatty. Prime rib to me represents work. You know what I'm saying? It represents work. I don't want to have to work when I eat my fucking meat. You know, the meat in there is delicious. You don't get me wrong, right? But it's work. Fuck that. I get myself a tenderloin and I got my filet mignon and I got it's like, okay, you know what I mean? Done, right? And there's no work involved in eating it. Squirt McGurk, $5. What would be a good first bike for a huge dude? Oh man, a good first bike for a huge dude. I mean, what kind of bike do you want? Is it a cruiser? Do you like a cruiser type bike? Do you like a sport bike? Do you like a standard? Like what kind of bike? Name a bike or two that you would be drawn to, that you've seen, that you've been drawn to. Harley Road King. For a first bike, really? Come on. Terrence Seymour, you picked up 4 subs tonight. Congratulations. Sid, you are Italian. Always go for the top food. Bro, yeah. I mean, there's certain things you just do not skimp on, okay? Something big CC so it can hold you. Yeah, but what kind of bike? What I mean, because he's asking for recommendations on a first time cruiser, a first time bike. But I mean, what kind of riding is he intending on doing? That's the big question. Yeah, Al picked up. He picked up a beautiful Road Glide. The color on that thing is gorgeous. Yeah, Austin Sportster. Austin, did you see the Sportster for $1,000 got listed yesterday on Marketplace? Look up Sportster and put $1,000 in the price range. There was one. It's probably gone now, right? This bike was complete, man. It looked good. It looked good. It was like a black 90. I believe it was a 98 1200. Well, I'm looking for Squirt McGurk's answer as to what kind of bike, and I'm not seeing it. Squirt McGurk, I want to answer that question for you, and I'm sure a lot of our viewers here want to help answer that question. We need to know what kind of bike it is that you're drawn to. Okay, Squirt McGurk, something simple, classic, and relatively inexpensive. Maybe a sporty cruiser, but I'm not sure. Well, okay, like Austin said, the answer is always Sportster, right? There's a lot of reasons I love Sportsters. There's too many to go into right now. But if you're a huge dude, if you're over like 6 foot, if you're over like 250 pounds, you need something a little more substantial. For a good first bike, right? So this is a bike you're going to learn to ride on, and you're probably going to drop it. You're not going to want to spend a lot of money. You can pick up Honda. Okay, who's saying that? Honda Shadow. Yeah, a Honda. I'll tell you right now, right? Great first bike. Pick up an 1100 Shadow. You can buy these things for $1,000 all day long, right? The full size Shadows. They come in all different sizes. But those Honda Shadows are really good bikes to start. And the V-Stars too. The Yamaha V-Star is another great cheap bike. You can buy them cheap, $1,500, $1,000, $1,500 for decent running bikes that maybe just a little cosmetically rough. And they're great to cut your teeth on. You know what I mean? They're relatively light. They're easy to maneuver. They got a low center of gravity. Those would be your most friendly, easy to and then after you get used to riding that, okay, so you pick up a Shadow, you pick up a V-Star, then after you run that around for a while, you'll know, hey, I want something where I sit a little more upright, or I want something I sit a little more forward, or I want something that's got a little more power, I want something that's got a little more weight. So that's why your first bike, make it a cheap bike. Just anything you pick up that's mechanically sound in the $1,000, $1,500 range. Live with it for a season, and then once you'll know after a little while, okay, I need this kind of bike, or I need that kind of bike. So that would be my recommendation. either a Shadow or a V-Star. Who designed a red painted walls? Actually, orange. There's a neon light over here. It's a Mopar sign, and there's a lamp here with colored bulbs. So the room kind of looks red, but it's actually orange. Good night, Mr. Will. The Yamaha V-Stars look great. Yeah, they really do. I'll tell you, man. You know what? You know what's a great underrated bike. So let's just say you don't want to impress anybody. You're not looking to impress anybody, and you're not looking to like set any records. You know what I mean? You're not looking at drag race. You're not looking. Okay, you just want a cheap bike that will get you everywhere you want to go and keep a smile on your face. Just get in the wind, and you can take it to the store, or you can take it, on the highway and not worry about it and get like stupid good mile per gallon. You know what's a good fucking bike for that, right? Okay, a 650 V-Star. Those early 650 V-Stars, 98, 99, 2000, thereabouts. Okay, you buy these things dirt cheap. It looks like a big bike. It has all of the feel of a big bike, but it's a tiny bike. It's a very light. They're really happy little motorcycles. So I mean, if you could find one of those, you buy them dirt cheap, and they're reliable like an anvil. Like nothing ever goes wrong with these things. But like, when you tell people, I ride a 650 V-Star, they're going to look at you, even like girls who've never ridden, have no idea what a motorcycle even is. And you tell me you ride a 650 V-Star, and they'll look at you like, what's wrong with you? But if you can ignore all of that and you just want a happy little motorcycle to just run around town with, find a 650 V-Star. Oh, Landon Productions brand. I just finished a resto on the 81 XR250R. Nice bikes. Mr. Pure Country. Hey, Tony, what's with the stroker motor you're going to be building soon? That we're going to be building that over the summer. First, we're going to do this regular 383, which we're going to go into detail this week, and that's going to be the motor that Al is going to take Slag Hammer on Power Tour with. And then we're going to put a separate motor together so that he can go race at the no-name nationals. And that's going to be the stroker, and we'll be doing that over the summer. Jimbo, do you think motorcycles would be good for a zombie apocalypse? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, man. Here's the thing. Unless you're wealthy, right? You've got good money, okay, and resources, and can hold on to them. Unless you're wealthy, I'm going to say within 10 years, cars are going to be out of reach. And if you're a gearhead and you love engines and you just love machinery and you love to work on stuff, everybody is going to be forced into bikes. I'm telling you that right now. Even if you're not into bikes now, if you want to stay within the gearhead culture and do it at an affordable everyman's level, you will be forced to go motorcycle within the next 10 years. And I am absolutely certain of that. Gurney for president. You're a great teacher, UT. Thank you, man. You can teach order like nobody else. I agree with the 10-year prediction too. I'm telling you, there's no doubt in my mind. Hey Tony, let's call him. Good morning from overseas. Good morning. It's 10 o'clock at night here. Favorite big single bike. Favorite thumper. I'll tell you what, the Savage is a fun little bike, man. Suzuki Savage. I love all thumpers. I mean, thumpers are great, man. We have a Buell Blast here in the shop. That's only a 500, but they're fun. Thumpers are you see, if you're a real gearhead, right? You're a real gearhead. You can identify. You vibe with a thumper. You know what I'm saying? It's like you become very attached to thumpers. Um, but the Savage, the 650 Savage, is a great one. They're a little undersized though, as physically as a bike. It's big for a big engine for a thumper, but small motorcycle. It's the only reason I'm not so crazy about them. The Sid, yeah, the XR 650, yeah, awesome bikes. Let's see. Aprilia RS 250, but then you got to go with the Aprilia tax, which is just slightly worse than the Ducati tax. All right, guys, I'm gonna pull the plug. I'm gonna pull the plug because I'm freaking tired. Right, I'm still fighting the Rona. All the symptoms are gone, but the exhaustion is there. I am tired. I'm gonna go home. I'm just gonna crash. So, oh God, where do we even start here? Right? As always, everybody contribute super chat. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it. It keeps the wheels turning here. Everybody contributed with just your conversation and your presence. You're part of the greatest automotive community on YouTube. Right? Thank you for being a part of it. And thank you for being a part of our channel. I'm eternally grateful to you people. All of our mods, John, Ari, Fubar, Zero, in no particular order. Thank you again, as always. John, Wilburn, and Dallas, the no-name nationals, right? So, you go check that out, right? Mopar Al, if you're not subscribed to Mopar Al's channel, Mopar Al is doing a lot of stuff. He's also starting to work on a project with Kiwi. So there's another thing. And then there's Kiwi's channel, Kiwi's Custom Classics, right? Go over there, sub to these guys. They're awesome guys. They're part of a growing thing that we have over here, right? So, support them, please support them. And I think that's it. I think I covered everything. Next Sunday night, we've got Steve Magnanti is coming back. I'm going to talk about muscle cars, old and new. So it's always great to have Steve here with us. And I think that's it, right? I think that covers everything. And if you're a Canadian trucker, or you know a Canadian trucker, or a farmer, or a tow truck driver, or anybody who's participating in this, right? If you are one, or you know one, right? Tell them that the UTG is like grateful to these guys. Yeah, they are true heroes. I want to say American heroes, but they're not American. They're Canadians, right? And so, but it doesn't matter. They're heroes. And thank you for doing what you're doing. And that's it, right? I'm gonna pull the plug and go home, and I'm out of here. So thank you all. I'll catch you later.